Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Before we get started with the video, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who commented last week on my post and just kind of like gave me some assurance that the longer get ready with me's are actually something you are interested in. I personally love watching them as well, just because it's cool to kind of hang out with people, a little bit more chill, a little bit like relaxed. And especially lately with everything going on in the world, like I just think it would be so nice to spend some time together. I'm on a personal like mission to do my makeup a lot more often. So this is kind of why I'm recording these videos now. And yeah, so I just wanted to say thank you for that. Thank you for the kind words. And obviously thank you for watching. Today's video, last week, I kind of mentioned how I felt like my technique with my makeup was like feeling a bit off. Um, I tend to do the same thing over and over again. So once I get into like a routine, it's very, very like hard for me to like want to break away from like certain techniques or certain types of products. But I don't know, like lately I've just been feeling like it's just not been hitting the way that I wanted to hit. So over the last week, since I said that, I just spent a lot of time watching makeup artists on social media and just like taking notes and seeing what things I can adapt differently in my technique. So I thought with changing up my technique, I can also recreate a makeup look for you guys. And I was scrolling TikTok and W Magazine had posted a video with some like celebrities and they were all like talking about like their favorite reality TV show. And when Ryan Destiny came on screen, I genuinely like I was like, I'm a deep brown burgundy like eye look person. Like I just find them so stunning, especially when they're just like monochromatic. And I think that's really what it was that it was just like one intense bold color all over the lid. And it just looked gorgeous. So I want to recreate that here. I definitely took some screenshots of it and I also like made some notes just so like I can recreate it for you guys. And yeah, along the way, like I said, I'll just kind of show you guys or point out to you some of the new techniques that I'm doing so that we can yeah, learn together and maybe hopefully this will help somebody else out who feels like their makeup hasn't been hitting the same recently. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to take these off. These are fabulous by the way. These are just like reusable eye masks. And like right before you do your makeup, like, 10, 15 minutes before you do your makeup, just like letting your eye cream marinate under this, it just makes everything look so fantastic. So I'm going to put these back in their little case. These are from Do Skin, by the way. I got these like last year and I honestly just am obsessed. This is like really kicked up my skincare routine, like at least under the eye area. It just makes my eyes feel like way more hydrated. And in the wintertime when my skin is like extra dry, they're fab. So that's my little spiel about my reusable eye masks. So I'm gonna do something I normally never do, and that's start with my eyebrows first. I've always done them kind of like in the middle or last. Um, and I'm gonna start with them first. Again, I'm just gonna like test out some things, but I think we're gonna start here first just so I can kind of get a better like shape. I'm also gonna do my eye makeup like next. So I think having the brows kind of framing the face the way that I want will help a little bit more with the actual placement of my eyeshadows a bit later. So first, I'm just gonna brush them out and just kind of get them looking a little nicer. Then I'm just gonna like very, very lightly fill them in. And I'm giving myself like a little bit more of an arch, not like a whole lot, but just like a slight arch because that's actually how my brows naturally grow in. Like naturally they come down in an arch, but I feel like it closes off my eye like way too much when I let them grow, naturally. So that's why they're always like kind of shaved off. And typically I just like to draw them like kind of straight K-pop style because I also feel like having that space just makes me look more youthful. Um, But I don't know, I feel like lately I've been craving a little tiny bit of an arch, so that's what we are going to do, and Ryan's eyebrows are also, like, naturally arched a bit as well, so I feel like we can kind of play around with that today. I'm not doing too much. I'm really just filling in the sparse areas only because I don't want it to look too heavy. I do want it to look, I hate the word natural with makeup because obviously it's not natural, but I want it to look not so dramatic. So that is kind of what we're going for. And her brows are naturally, like, closer together, like, when you see, like, in the photo of her, you see her brows are, like, super tight, and then, like, her nose bridge also is, quite narrow as well. I don't have that, so I'm gonna bring them in a slight bit, but I'm not going to, bring them in as tight as hers is. So, I feel like that's fine. I feel like for makeup looks, they just need to be inspiration. You don't need to be, like, a one-to-one recreation. And I've started to make peace for at least this week. We've made peace a little bit with the brows being 2 different shapes. Alright, now that my brows are on, I do wanna go in with a little bit of skin prep. I already did some moisturizer earlier, but just to make sure that we're extra hydrated, because 'cause we're gonna put some heavy, like, foundation and stuff on. I just wanna go ahead and just add a bit more. This is from Jones Road. This is the Light Moisture Cream, and it feels really nice. And immediately my skin feels much more hydrated. So it's winter. My skin has been so dry. Um Lately, like, even after I moisturize and do everything, I just feel like the air is sucking all of the moisture out of my skin. So, extra moisturizer absolutely is a necessity. I'm gonna also go in with the product that I found in my stash because remember, I'm really hoping to go through my collection more and use up what I have. And so it's this beautiful eye balm by Kier Weiss, and it's something like I used a bit of it, but I kinda neglected it until recently, and it's a balm that's meant to kinda, like, prep your eye, and it's just, like, ultra hydrating and kind of smoothing, blurring as you kind of let it sit and soak in, it will, like, kind of deeply hydrate the under eye area. I think this product it kind of was made with, like, more mature skin in mind, so definitely if you're somebody who feels like you have, like, some, loss of hydration, this might be a great product to test out. But when I first got it, I feel like I didn't get it, but now that my eyes are a bit more, even just, like, in the last year, I feel like my eyes have gotten, like, a few little bit more wrinkles, and it's a little bit more dry under there, so even just in, like, this past year, um, I feel like my eyes have changed, so rediscovering this has been nice. And then the last thing, we're just gonna add some more lip balm because my lips are looking crusty also. So let's add some balm. And this is from Glossier. This is the coconutbalm.com. And this has been one of my favorite lip balms this year. So now that we have brows on, some hydration, Let's now go in and start with the eye area. So I'm just gonna go in first with a concealer over my eyelids just so that we can create a base for the eyeshadow. This is a really nice concealer. It's just like very like creamy, not heavy at all, and is, I don't know, just like very hydrating. So I'm gonna use this. Let's pick a brush that actually isn't gonna piss me off. um, Need her. Okay. All right, I'm gonna use this brush here just to blend it in. And I wanted to go with something that was pretty close to my skin tone shade, nothing like too crazy in terms of color. I'm gonna take a bit more of that concealer and I'm going to just use that to clean up under my brows, just so we can get like a bit more precision. I'm using a flat brush just like this, like a little detail brush, and just going underneath. I'm gonna just start with the front area first because this area on for me tends to be where the misshapenness starts to happen. And so I feel like just starting there is a good place to eyeball and know what, what else you might want to do, or if you want to just like kind of stop there. So yeah, already I feel like that did a good job. And I'm just using like a little tiny dot on the back of my hand just to kind of control how much product I'm using. I don't want to overly um, add too much product. Yeah, and on this side, I'm going just a little bit into the arch just because I feel like um, it'll help match the shapes a bit more. Okay, and before all of that slides around my face, I'm going to set it with some powder. So let's grab a powder brush. I like a tapered brush. And then I'm just going to take some powder that's around the same shade. This is from Fenty. This is the Pro Filter loose setting powder in the shade Nutmeg. And I've just really been enjoying this a lot for under the eyes, all over. It's just a really nice tone, and it really matches up well with my concealers. So I'm just going to set that really, really lightly, and my brows too, actually, just so it doesn't, nothing moves. All right, so next up on the eye, we're going to take a big fluffy brush and I'm going to just try one of these two shades as a transition shade just to kind of give me a little bit of like of a guideline of like where I'm going to place my makeup. Let me start this on the back of my hand just to make sure that I'm not gonna be annoyed. Okay. Let's do this guy here. I think this more like neutral, muted, peachy kind of tone. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay. I'm really just gonna pop that like more into the crease and up toward the brow bone. And then we'll dip into that later on if we need to kind of like help um, blend out anything. And like in terms of makeup, because I'm somebody who has not been wearing eyeshadow for like the longest time, this is, I feel like, something I have been missing in my routine, which has been priming the eye for eyeshadow. And usually when I, put on makeup, I just pop it on, which I feel like is a normal thing to do for day to day. I mean, like this is a bit more like makeup artisty in the way that we're gonna do like a bunch of steps and dip into like a bunch of different makeup. So like obviously day to day, eye primer might not be everybody's, main priority. So I do feel like it does make some difference though with the longevity and how smooth everything sort of applies onto your lid. So just something to think about if you've been feeling like your eyeshadow hasn't been laying down right. It might be time to think about a primer. Okay. And then actually, I'm going to set this brow bone shade right here. I'm going to use the same brush, just the other side. And I'm just going to dip into like this bone color just to mattify underneath the brow a bit more. We're going to start with a very creamy eyeliner pencil. This one's from Victoria Beckham Beauty. This is their Satin Kajal liner in the shade Bordeaux. And I think this is like a pretty spot on color choice for this look. I would love to know what they actually used just because I am obsessed with the color. Like when you see it on her, it's just so pretty. So I would love to know what product they actually use, but I think this is one that's pretty close. So I'm just going to place this all over the eyelid. And I'm just keeping it, let's go close to the lash line too, real quick. But I'm just keeping it like right here, centered on the lid because I'm going to blend this out. So I'm going to take another fluffy brush and we're going to start like on around the edges. And we're just going to like work this in like into the crease area. And I noticed her shadow was like more rounded. So we're not going to like elongate it or create like a cat eye, but just try to keep it sort of around your like orbital bone. And she has pretty like hooded eyes. I think mine are like a partially hooded eye. So the shape might look a little bit different on me than on her, but I think this is for the most part the shape that you want to go for. Um it's really pretty. I think the light is drowning out some of the color, unfortunately. So it might look a bit lighter than hers, but trust the process here. I'm going back in with some more liner just to intensify this even more. Already, that looks so good. So I'm going to take another fluffy brush. Because remember, I said this is pretty simple, pretty easy. So I'm going to take a fluffy brush and I'm going to go in with my my bronzer shade, excuse me. This is the NYX Buttermelt bronzer, and I have the shade Better Than You, and you can see, like, it matches up pretty well to what I have going on, so I'm going to just kind of put this all over, blend it in, kinda see what we get, set this cream product as well. So I'm gonna take a brush, like a fluffy brush again, and I'm just gonna go over that area and intensify. And we can take that first transition shade brush and that first transition and just kind of like blend out these edges just to keep it from going off the rails too much. And I think for me, like when I do eye makeup looks, one thing I always try to do is just work in layers. Like some makeup artists are so talented and they could like, create a beautiful eye in like 2 steps. But for me, I always find that I err on the side of caution because I hate messing up a look. So I try to go in with, just work in layers essentially. So think about it like that. I am going to add some black to this now because I want to intensify this this crease a bit more. And let me grab another brush. I want something like dense but fluffy because I want to be able to actually blend this. And I don't want this black to be like a blob, you know what I mean? Like I want it to really, like, blend well. So on that note, I'm gonna take my liner. This is another Victoria Beckham Beauty liner. Same one, the Satin Kajal, and I think they just call this one black. I'm gonna find my, like, crease area right here, and I'm just gonna place just a tiny, tiny bit of that black because, like I said, these are very pigmented and they're very, like, creamy and they move a lot. So we're gonna just, map out this black really quick. I might kinda go up and, I might go out as well, just to kinda get it to spread a bit more evenly. But mainly, I'm just wanting to focus it, like, near, like, the outer V area to add some more depth to that section. Back into the bronzer, and then we're gonna go into that crease just so we can set that black eyeshadow or black eyeliner. So, yeah, just gonna set the crease. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is take that same black eyeliner and we're going to tight line the upper and lower lashes. I'm gonna move on to doing my lashes. I'm gonna be using these ones from Ardell. These are the Naked Lash line, and this is not sure what the model these are. Oh, 424. So these are the Naked Lashes, but they are quite big, so I need to trim them down first. They are again, so you can see them a little bit better. They're very wispy, very fluffy, gorgeous. I am going to cut in 2 places. So I'm gonna cut the front and I'm gonna cut this cluster right here on the back end. I don't think you guys can see that, but just trust me, bro. And I hold on to all these little um like bits that I cut off because they do make for like really good like individual clusters. Don't throw it away. Like just stick them back on the package and that way you can actually use them um again for something else. Okay, so let's just take a little test run and see what that might look like. Yeah, I like that a lot. It's not so it's not so dramatic, you know what I mean? Like super I cannot get away with the super dramatic lashes. I like just absolutely cannot. Yeah, because I've been falling into the trap of wanting a cat eye, and so I've been, taking a lash that has like that nice taper, and I've been putting it right here on the end of my lash line. And what that's doing a lot of the times is dragging that eye shape down. And I think most people, obviously, because like I said, a lot of people tend to wear lashes like when there's a special occasion or, like it's just not their normal day-to-day makeup. So, when you put it on, you assume, right? Like you just take the lash band, put some glue, and you just place it everywhere over your eye. And like I said, I think what ends up happening is that we don't do enough customization of the lash themselves and we don't customize the placement. And for me, it just never dawned on me that I didn't have to put lashes on the very, very end, like in that outer V, like that I could move them a little bit closer to the center. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I just didn't know that. So yeah, I'm a mascara girly most of the time. So yeah, anything new in these streets in terms of of eyelash placement, I'm just not there. And like I said, I think that for me that was one thing that contributed to me feeling dissatisfied was that I felt like my eyes looked so droopy. Like a good example of that is Ariana Grande. Actually, she was in this same video. But Ariana Grande, her lash placement is like right, like you can tell they place it right on the outer V, and it's a half lash, but it's just very heavy. It's a very heavy half lash placed right on the outer V, and it brings her eye shape down, and it makes her eyes look droopy. And if you have the same problem, the placement is like I think 90% of the issue, and the other 10% might just be the shape and the like density of the lash itself. But like I think 90% of the time, most people's problem is that you're placing it in the wrong spot. And so now that I've said that 400 times, hopefully that sinks in. I'm going to use my lash glue. This is a really cool product from NYX. It's the 2-in-1 liner and lash adhesive. So basically, in order to apply your lashes, you don't have to use like a messy glue. The liner is the adhesive. I will say, in this particular look, she doesn't have like a noticeable wing. So I'm going to be very, very delicate on like where I place this because I don't wanna create, like, a dark wing. This is supposed to be, like, very monochromatic, so we are going to pray and hope for the best. If a wing is created, then, it's not the end of the world, but I wanna try to be as, like, careful as possible with the placement so that we more closely match her look. Okay, so I'm gonna focus this product. I'm gonna press this like up against the lash line. And you definitely want to make sure you're getting product out because the liner is the glue. So if you don't get any, then it's not gonna stick. Okay. There we go. Like a little teeny tiny baby line. And then I'm gonna take my lash. And we're gonna pop it on. Oh, my mirror. Let's find some tweezers and press this in a bit more. And between this and like the invisible band that it has, like I feel like it really looks very, very natural. I am just for the sake of security, I'm gonna take this liner and go back over the top of it just a little bit. Cause like right here, I can see that there's not enough liner. And so I just want to make sure it sticks. I'm also gonna go over the top of that as well, just for some added security. So I was watching TikTok today from Makeup by Shayla, and I'm using her technique basically for this application. She basically says apply the lash first, then curl it, and then add mascara. So that's what we're going to do, just so that we can um, test this out. All right. So while that glue is curing, setting, whatever, let's go ahead and do the underside of the bottom lash. So we already tight lined with the black liner. I'm going to take that same burgundy shade, if I can find it. Oh, here it is. So I'm going to go in with my burgundy shade and I'm going to place a good amount of that liner underneath and then smudge it out. I'm going to get a little bit smaller of a brush for this since it's a smaller area. Let's use this little guy. This is from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's like I think one came with their palette, but I'm gonna use this side right here to kind of like smudge out underneath and smoke out the lower lash line. And then we'll go back in with that bronzer just to set that down and then, give it a bit more blend. I'm gonna use the same brush. I'm just taking that same color and I'm gonna go around the eye. Just like maybe like where a highlight shade would go. I just want to make sure that shadow is all up into like the corner. Okay, so now we're gonna go in with mascara. But first, I'm going to curl my lashes. So Shayla says basically to avoid the lash line. So just curl the kind of like mid part of the lash just to blend your lash and the false lash together. Oh, nice. And then this way it kind of fuses them together. That's a nice big curl. I think this side's a bit too curled. The tip. Hold on. And now you want to take a mascara. I'm going to be using this one from Hourglass. This is the Unlocked Instant Extensions Mascara. And this is one of my favorites. But we're going to just kind of blend these lashes together. That looks so nice. Normally, I do my mascara and my eye curler first, and then I put the falsies on, but this is actually so much, like, easier and looks a lot cleaner. That's super nice. Okay, so let's do the other side. This front side lifted just a little bit, but I thought it's completely user error. I just trying to use the least amount of glue as possible and just needs a bit more coaxing to stay in place. Okay. Um, this is so much nicer than how my lashes normally turn out. So thank you, Shayla, for the advice because this makes way more sense in terms of like how to blend them together, how to get them to look a certain way. This one's super curly. I might have to like cut that or trim that. Somebody's yelling and out in agony. I hope they're okay. Let me add a little bit more glue. It's always the front. Like, why doesn't the front ever want to stay stuck? Like, what is your problem? It just like never wants to let us be great. You know what I mean? Your biggest op is the front of your eyelash band. Okay. I mean, these are like really, really cute. Um, and like, I don't know, do you see how like my eye doesn't look dragged down and like heavy? That's what you want for your lashes. So I'm really happy that I was I found her tutorial because this came out way better than I was expecting. Um, I'm also gonna do some lower lash mascara. I think she has it for this look, so I think that's what we'll do. I'm just gonna use a little bit. I'm gonna tilt my head like super far ahead forward just so we can see. Okay, so that is the eyes done. All right, so now that the eyes are done, I'm going to get into the base. We're going to start with the Forever Glow Star Filter from Dior. If you saw last week's video, I tried this on for the first time and instantly fell in love with it. And I don't have any other luminizers like this. So, I don't have anything else to compare it to, but I just feel like if you are in the market for one, you might want to pick this up because it's gorgeous. So, I'm just going to take a little pump in my hand. And this is another kind of tip that I've picked up over like the last week or so from makeup artists. And they like to use kind of the palm of their hand to mix product. I like to use the back of my hand, but I feel like this is warmer, like your body temperature is warmer and it's a bit bigger of a surface area so that you actually can work your brush into the product and disperse the product evenly. So I'm starting with like a tiny, tiny amount first because this does have some coverage on its own. And I'm just going to get this all over my brush. And then I'm going to work this around the face just so I can have some glow. I don't really want coverage out of this. I just want the glow. Her makeup look isn't super glowy, and that's why I'm like not going super hard with this product. I just want a little bit of luminosity underneath my face. So we're just going for a little tiny bit. And then the next thing that I need to do is color correct. So you can see I have some hyperpigmentation on my cheek, around my mouth. Those are the main areas that I'm going to put some product. So I'm going to take this on to the back of my hand. I'm going to first blend it a little bit in the back of my hand, and then I'm going to go in all the areas that need coverage. I'm going to go with my concealer. And I have been really loving the Lancome Tinted Ultra Wear. I think I mentioned this in my last video as well. I think I said that I had the shade 500, but it's the shade 530 actually. But either way, it's the one that I feel like is like the most closest to my skin tone without being like overly bright. And what I really like, especially lately, is like the formula is very lightweight. Um, Hydrating, I don't know if I would say hydrating, but it's definitely very, like, glowy and, like, natural looking. So, I really like this a lot, and under the eyes, especially, that's my, like, next kind of area that I've been having a bit of, like, not insecurity, but, like, it has been kind of, like, annoying that I'm been getting so much, like, cracking underneath my eye, fine lines. I have allergies. I've had allergies my whole life, and they make my eyes look so much puffier than they are, and so, yeah, I'm getting, like, a lot of lines, and that's fine. I don't care about that, but the makeup settling into the lines is super annoying, especially when you spend a lot of time, you know, placing product there and hoping for the best. So what I'm realizing is that the less product under the eye, the better. That has been echoed a bunch of times by makeup artists online that I've been watching. And so especially like, if you're a bit older or you just already have a lot of lines there in general, the least amount of product there possible. I don't have too much discoloration under my eye, so I'm not going to color correct there. And that's one less thing that I'm putting there. And right now we're actually about to do some underpainting. So I want to show you how you can actually get away with only wearing concealer under your eye. Because the other big kind of faux pas that I've been doing a lot, and this is again just something that I've always done. So I always thought it was like the correct thing, but I've always brought my foundation up to my under eye area, so you have like one flat base to start with. And that's not right. So to avoid putting any foundation there, I'm going to conceal there. And that way, when I go to put my foundation on, I already know don't touch that area. We've already got it covered. So that's the goal for the placement of the concealer. I'm gonna go ahead also and just add the concealer to anywhere where I want to highlight or brighten. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'm also gonna limit how much. I mean, that seems like a lot, but it is quite a thin layer. But I'm also gonna limit the amount of product that I'm using as well because I don't wanna use too much. I'm also going under. The placement is under the under eye. So we're not going like right on the area where we already put eyeshadow. And that was the other reason why I wanted to do my eye first. Because if it's already done, I'm not gonna put any product up there. So that's kind of the key. You wanna start your concealer under your under eye bag, and you wanna bring your eyeshadow down, into that so that it kinda just gives it like a smoky look. Um, right, so concealer. So everywhere that we wanna highlight. It is such a great match, like, stunning color match. For my under eyes, I'm going to use my fingers, which is something I typically do not do. I normally am a brush, like, girl, but because it's a delicate area under the eye. Um, and I think also too, what I've noticed doing this now is like I get a bit more like sheared out sort of appearance. So I'm gonna just let this kind of work its magic. And I can feel how warm my skin is. Go up. But this product is so beautiful. Like it just looks so skin-like. And when you don't have a bunch of stuff underneath of it, is really when you see it, like, how beautiful it is on its own. Like, normally I have so much product under this, and it's still beautiful, but this was way nicer. And you see, like, I did not take that concealer up the eye. I kept it right in kinda like the hollows area, and that just allows it to, not travel too high up, so there's no cracking that will occur essentially from that. So I'm gonna go down the side of the nose a little bit. I'm gonna take that fluffy brush that I had earlier, and I'm just gonna blend out my concealer. Okay. So now I'm gonna go in with my contour shade slash bronzing shade. Um, when I practiced this, I used the Fenty matchsticks in espresso, which is actually a really beautiful, like kind of contour shade on me. But when I blended it out, it felt a bit warm. So I went in with the Patrick Ta, um, what do you call it? Contour, cream contour, just to like deepen it up a little bit. So I'm gonna do the same thing here because I liked how it turned out, even though I didn't intend for it, but I liked how it turned out. So another content creator that I have been loving follow. Her name is Megan B, and I think on YouTube she's Megan B Studios. And she anytime she does her makeup, she underpaints. And I think what she taught me recently, like it finally clicked, is that I'm not wearing enough makeup. So that's the next tip. Definitely need to make sure, especially for an underpainting routine, like you need to be putting a lot of makeup on. So I'm gonna kind of do her technique for underpainting. Try to match her energy a little bit. But you see how it's like, I mean, it's not super deep. So it'll give me a nice amount of like shadow, but I want something a bit cool, maybe cooler toned is the word I'm looking for. I'm not sure, but we'll see. So yeah, normally on my forehead, I don't do a whole lot of I try to like do like a few dots, but I have a massive forehead. Like, you know what I mean? Like, girl, why have I been what I mean? Like, you have a big forehead. Why are you being demure about how much contour you need to contour that thing? So that's the vibe for today. We're just gonna contour that. I'm also gonna take it down my nose. She kind of goes around. Not really a nose contour person, but you know what I mean? Like, why is it crooked? Oh my God. I don't know why my brain can't do anything correctly. Okay. Move that out of the way. There we go. And then we're gonna go here. Here. And I'm trying to like blend it up. You don't want to drag it down. So you want to blend it upward. And we're going to go in with some foundation anyway. So it doesn't have to be super perfect. Yeah, so many MUAs I've been seeing lately on social media are like saying, like, listen, if you don't like how your makeup's turning out, chances are you're not wearing enough makeup. So you need to really like pack it on and not be afraid to do that. And that makes sense, you know? Like, there's no reason why some of my makeup has been lasting for like a decade, and it's because I put like a little dot and then just blend that dot into oblivion, you know? So, yeah, this is definitely something to consider. But already you can see, I do think this needs more blending though. So let's grab a little. Normally, I don't do blender, like whatever, but I'm gonna do that for this just so that it gets a bit more um, blurred. But yeah, just gonna, you need to play more and experiment more. And I think part of that is sometimes you just need to put on a lot of makeup that you normally wouldn't. Like I normally would not have this much contour on my forehead, but that's what we're doing today. So um I like it. And I always forget to blend around my jaw. Like anytime I'll place the product there and completely forget to actually blend it. So we're gonna make sure we do that today. This is a really pretty color though. Okay, let me before I go in and blend that out, let me go in with the Patrick Ta contour, just so I can add like a little bit more depth. It's just like a slightly deeper thing. And I don't know why I didn't blend my nose contour out, so we'll do that after as well. The other place that Megan contours that I never have thought to do is actually around my mouth. So let's do that because I've never done that. But it like look at how it pops the lips out already. Like it's stunning. Okay, let me blend out the nose before I blend out my before we blend out the forehead. I'm just gonna use like a tapered, fluffy brush just to have a little bit more control. And I'm gonna bring this up into the hollows right here at the top. I think if I had one weakness with my makeup, it would be nose contour. Like I don't know why. I just feel like for me it never I don't know. I do have like a slight bend in my nose as well, so I think that's kind of part of it. It's like concealed until you go to put some product on it and then it's like a big hook in it. So I feel like when I contour it, I feel like it brings more attention to that. So not in a bad way, but in a like, did you mean to make your nose contour crooked kind of way? Like that's what I mean. So I feel like it just calls attention to it in a weird way. I think that's all right. I've definitely seen people take like a brightening powder and brighten like the sides of the nose in the center. So we'll do that as well. And I'll do that after we blend out the forehead because it's looking insane. So let me take my fluffy brush and blend. Let me do my highlighter. Nose highlight. Let's take this little blender guy and just kind of blend everything out a little bit more. Okay, so now for the cheeks, I'm gonna go in with the MAC Glow Play blush in the shade Pinch of Marrakesh. And this is just gonna go right here on the cheek area. Just we have like a little bit of color on the cheek. Say cheek again. And her placement was kind of like on the apples, and then it went kind of high. So that's what we're gonna do as well. And I'm gonna use a lot because this is what's going underneath the foundation. So you can definitely get away with packing it on to the cheek. Now that we have highlight, contour, and blush down, we are going to take a medium coverage foundation and blend everything together. I have gone back to Old Faithful. This is from NARS. This is the Natural Radiant Longwear Foundation. I have it in the shade New Caledonia, and it's perfection. So I'm going to go ahead and put some on the palm of my hand again, just like a pump, maybe like 2 pumps, only because some of it's gonna end up in the brush. So I just wanna make sure I have enough. So we have our foundation in our hand. I picked just a nice, like, fluffy brush, and I'm gonna take the product and just swirl it around. You really wanna coat the bristles with that foundation, and you wanna try to get it as even as possible so that as you go on to your skin, you're not gonna get any, like, um, big splotches of foundation. I'm gonna start here because I don't have any product there at all, and so you just wanna kinda swipe it on, tap it on, and just kinda begin the blending process. And everything's gonna start to, like, melt together, and it really tones down that, you know, tones down the harshness of everything. This method is so nice because you really don't you end up using that much foundation. I mean, obviously, you're using a lot more of everything else, but you don't have to use a lot of foundation to get this to blend in. So that's really nice because it gives you a more lightweight, it gives your foundation like a way lighter appearance. You know what I mean? It's not so heavy or cakey. So it really Looks airbrushed. And you'll definitely wanna go over the cheeks as well. You wanna tone that blush down a little bit. I just really feel like this foundation, oh my god, it's so pretty. Such a pretty foundation. And definitely go underneath the jaw and down the neck if you want. I'm at home, so I'm not really gonna do down the neck just because I don't wanna get all over my clothes, but down the neck, up the jaw, and around the mouth. Okay. So now that everything is blended, foundation's on, we're gonna set the powder. This next tip came from Ivana Sunshine. And she says to set your powders in reverse. So what that looks like is, can I ever have a brush ready when I'm ready to do something? No. We're gonna start from our contour. So we set the contour first, and then we'll go down from there. So let's grab some brushes. So we're gonna start with the contour first. And I'm gonna use this decrepit, like, palette from NARS, but it's the actual most perfect contour powder for me. It looks like this. This is the Melina palette. So the idea is that it has like your contour shade and then like really beautiful highlight color. So I'm going to actually use both of these colors from this palette. It has a top. I just have to take it off. But I'm going to like take this and set everything first, and I just really like love how like beautiful this is. And we're just going to set it, and I'm going to go as hard as I can because I always feel like I go super light-handed with my forehead for some reason. Like we already talked about this, but I just never understand why my contour isn't contouring up there. I think on camera it looks a little weak. Okay. Well, let me just set everything else first and then we'll swap products maybe. Will you see that? Like snatches your face. So that's why I really love this product. I don't know if they've replaced this. I don't even know why they got rid of it. So maybe somebody at NARS can give me the tea on what I can replace this with because I just think it's perfect. I don't have anything else like this in my collection. Okay. Then she says we set the blush. In my case, the blush is going to end up being like a bronzing shade. So we're going to go in with that same color that we had around our eyes, and we're going to use that to um blush to as our blush color. So I'm going to go in with this tapered brush here, grab a bit of product. This is super pigmented, by the way, so you definitely want to make sure that you're getting the excess off. before you apply it to your face because you will look crazy. Guaranteed. So I'm gonna kind of focus this where that blush is. And it still has a nice, beautiful sheen, even though it's a powder going on top. And that's why I really like this blush. It has like small, tiny particles in it. Not too much. It's definitely not shimmery or glittery, but it's just a nice, beautiful color. And it really intensifies that blush underneath and ties in the eye color as well. And then I'm going to take a little bit of this and we're going to go around the forehead, just like a little bit, just to warm it up some more. Okay. Okay. And then the last thing that we're going to set is all the highlighted areas. I'm going to first go around my whole face with my um, mineralized skin finish. So I'm going to just go over everything with like a super fluffy brush and just kind of knock the shine off of everything. Okay. And then we're going to go in and do the highlight. And the highlight color that I've been using, and I keep mentioning it, it's the Fenty Beauty Nutmeg color in their loose setting powder. And it's just really because it's such a great, um, like natural tone, like very, very peachy almost, I would say. So it's probably been my powder of choice these days because it's actually the only powder that I have that's not like a banana powder or like honey colored. So I'm just using it on like the back of my hand. And then we're gonna go in and just kind of press it into the forehead area. Okay. And then I'm gonna take a smaller tapered brush, and we're gonna go under the eye with this. And I'm gonna take a clean finger and just double check the concealer hasn't creased, and it, like, hasn't. It's actually set really nicely. So I'm gonna take a tapered brush, and I'm going to go in with that same shade, Nutmeg, and powder under the eye. And I've always done this. It wasn't until recently that I started using, like, a one of those, like, triangle, one of these guys, and, like, using that under my eye, but I find that sometimes it's just too heavy and it can contribute to that cracking, um, effect that I was talking about earlier. So I've just gone back to using a brush, and I think I don't know, it's one of my favorite ways to apply powder because you still get a lot of coverage, but it's not heavy. And so if you can, in that area, avoiding getting all that cracking, switch to using a brush instead of using a powder puff or using like a beauty blender. It's just like, sometimes you just have to adjust your your technique. Like that still looks super flawless. It's maybe not like, baked looking, but it's to me that looks flawless. So I like that. I'm gonna go over the lip and on that little chin highlight there. Like I just feel like that's so good. Okay, and then I'm gonna take whew, we're almost there, I promise. I'm gonna take this highlighter shade, just a little bit, same brush, and I'm just gonna like pop it like kind of right in the front area. This is also very pigmented, but like this will be my highlight shade. On her, she's not like super, like I said, she's not like super highlighted, so I don't want to do too much, but I have this little like kind of not hollowness, but like that little line there. So I just want to try to see if I can't brighten it just a little bit. But yeah, I'm trying to be like so careful to be like more light-handed in this area because I do feel like if you get the right combination of product and you get the right technique, it looks really, really pretty. Less is more. Work in layers and work your way up to the desired effect versus trying to like do it all in one fell swoop. I'm gonna take that matte highlighter shade and I'm gonna tap my nose with it. And then I'm gonna take that same shade and I'm gonna attempt to go down my nose in a straight line because that's always my issue is a straight line. Yeah. It's very 90s. This palette is very, very 90s. Matte highlight and a matte contour. So yeah, I really need somebody to come out with a dupe of this or any NARS to re-release it. I think it got re-released when Naomi was a spokesperson for them. I think this was like I think actually, if I'm not mistaken, this is a contour that was developed for her. So this is like her shade, her perfect everything. So yeah, I'm just not sure whenever I go to the NARS website looking for it, it's not there. So somebody needs to figure something out. Okay, we're good. Okay, let's see what else is there. Oh, actually, Ivana, beautiful tip. So the reason why we went contour, blush, highlight is because now everything looks extremely smooth. Like, the transition between the 2 is extremely, extremely smooth. It really does look like it was airbrushed on. Yeah, she solved the problem for me that I was having, which was that I felt like my highlighter and my blush never looked, like, cohesive, like, connected, and now that you can't tell where one starts and one stops, and I think that's insane. So, yeah, I love this tip. So, I think we're 3 for 3 on techniques, today. So, I'm not mad at this at all. I really, really love trying something new and it actually working. Um Okay. So I feel like skin is done. Let's set this. I'm going to use the old tried and true Max Fix Plus. This is a cute little mini that I got last week when I talked about my birthday order. It came from Bloomingdale's and they send good size samples. This is a cute little travel sized sample of Fix Plus. So I'm going to use this today because my other elf misting thing that I have, it always leaves like little dots and I don't want dots on this today. So I'm going to use the OG Fix Plus. Her makeup is not very glowy, but I do want to set this down. So let's just do it. She cannot be beat. I don't care what anybody says. She cannot. The formula as well as the sprayer, like the actual mechanism to spray is insane. It's a lot of water down there though. But oh my goodness, it makes my skin look insane. Oh, so glowy. Like that. I'm sorry, people things have come close, but nothing outdoes the doer, okay? Like nothing comes close to her. I'm gonna go back in real quick. I just want to, if I can even remember what brushes I used in what order. Okay. I want to just press this powder into my skin. Just one last little bit of powder for the road, just to press that setting spray into the skin. We're gonna go all over. Uh, Mac. I'm so glad Mac is having a resurgence again. Like, there's always been products that I've kept in rotation throughout the years, but, as more makeup companies have, come around, everybody's getting distracted, we're trying new things, but I'm so glad that Mac is starting to get, like, popular again, and I mean, honestly, like, it's just it's just so good. It's just too good. Alright, let's set everything down. Okay. Voila. And there was no like, that I could see there was no, like, highlighter. It really did look like a natural glow, but I wanna play around with this. This is, from Pat McGrath Labs. This is the Skin Fetish Highlighter Balm Duo. I have really been loving taking this balm side and just giving myself, like, a natural highlight, so I'm gonna do that. It really won't look I mean, you'll see. It might look maybe a little bit different. I'll be able to tell. I'll be able to tell. That's what it looks like, just like a nice sheen. So I'm gonna pick some up on my finger and just press it in wherever I see the light. And it's such a nice, like, wet looking highlight. Excuse me. And it stays put. Like, in my experience, I don't nothing it oh my god. I really enjoy it because it doesn't, like, move your makeup around with it. Like, it really does play nicely with everything underneath, and so it's just, like, a nice natural way to give yourself some pop, not, you know what I mean? Nothing too dramatic. It just looks stunning. So I'm gonna press that in, press those edges in. See? Like a nice little glassy glow. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. I think that's the only place I'll put it. Normally, I would put it, like, other elsewhere, but I don't know, I feel like I'm getting a good natural glow. I just really wanted to play with it on the cheeks, so that is that, and actually, real quick before I forget, I'm gonna swipe on just some brow gel. I should have done this earlier to set everything in, but I forgot, so let me just add a little bit. This is from Merit Beauty. This is, like, their 1980 gel. I think that's what it's called, or volumizing pomade, and this is in the shade Black Brown, and it's really nice. It just gives a little bit more volume and then a little bit of color. Just because I feel like they faded a little, just, like, a little tiny bit, and they need a little bit more shaping upward. Okay, now for lips, I'm gonna go in with matte chestnut to line my lips. I really wanna make sure that I accentuate the two-toned lip look, so I'm gonna fill in the top of my lip with this lip pencil. And then on the lower lip, just to kind of make it a bit smoother, I'm gonna take a lip pencil and blend it out. Okay, and then in the center of the bottom lip, it looks like a really, like, kinda nice red tone. So I'm actually gonna take a lipstick. This one's from Victoria Beckham Beauty. This is in the shade Pop, and it's like this nice warm, like, fiery red. And I'm just gonna take this on my finger and just apply a little bit to the center. You don't want a lot, like, you just need to be very light-handed with this and shear it out quite a lot. A little more. So it kinda just looks like a lip stain, and you definitely could use a lip stain as well if you have one. Um, but yeah, just something to bring some color in. I'll go a little bit harder. Okay, so now we have, like, our reddish brown base, and then the last thing we're going to do is top this off with some brown lip oil. A gloss would work as well, but I think a lip oil works a little bit better for this only because it's more sheer, so you'll see both the brown and the red kind of poke through. So I'm gonna take the lip oil, go on the top. I'll take my lip brush and just kind of like move this around a little bit. Okay, and then one thing I will say is it definitely looks like she has like a darker line around her lip. So let me see if I can intensify this a little bit with chestnut again. Okay, that will have to do. Hers is definitely more like dark brown than like a lighter brown and then the red, but this is the deepest brown pencil that I have. So that will have to do for now. Okay, guys, we, I think, have accomplished our goal of these beautiful burgundy eyes a la Ryan Destiny. I really enjoyed trying out some new techniques today. I mean, I've underpainted before. I've done some of these things before, but they're not part of my like everyday kind of routine. And I think I'm gonna have to make some adjustments now because I do feel like this turned out, even though I feel like I still look like myself, I feel like the makeup turned out better. Um, like the application was smoother. It just looks nicer, looks way more blended. And I feel like I've always been good at blending, but I mean, listen, hats off to um these wonderful makeup artists who have all these like amazing tips and tricks of like how to take it to that next level. Because I feel like that's what I need. So yeah, I'm really like a fan. Shayla's like eye eyelash like technique to get the lashes to look a lot more blended together, mixed with seeing, the fact that, like I said, you can shorten them. You don't have to use that lash band, the whole full lash band that comes in the package. You can customize it and you should customize it to your eye shape. And the result, I mean, it still looks super, not super, it still looks dramatic, but you know, it's not over the top. So I really, really like that. I like that it doesn't make my eyes look dark and closed off because that is a huge thing that happens to me with my makeup. The under eye makeup looks incredible. Honestly, using less product is the way. It's the way. You have to just use as little product there as possible. You want to be light handed, go in with some light layers of the concealer itself, and then use your powder in a way that doesn't cake under your eye and make it feel heavy and crepey. Like go in with a brush to actually deposit that product instead of like just packing it on because there's a huge difference in the way that my eyes look now versus in recent months where I was doing my makeup and going super heavy handed with the powder because it looks amazing, it looks snatched, but after like an hour it starts to crack on me. I don't want to say I have very oily eyelids, but you know what I mean? Like it just starts to crack. So yeah, I definitely was getting really frustrated with my under eyes because I'm like, why is baking not working for me? Why are these high coverage concealer is not working for me, and it's just because it's just too heavy. So this new routine is a keeper for sure. The eyebrows look so much better. Giving myself my arch back makes so much sense. Like, who would have thought the way that nature intended for your eyebrows to look would look the best? Well, here we are. So, yeah, I mean, I still feel like they're different shapes, but it's better. It definitely looks better. And I like the less is more product again. Like, we're not trying to do 2016 brow, but we need some shape and some filling in. So I'm glad that it's not like perfect, but it still looks, polished and put together. Um, yeah, other than that, like I'm obsessed. I think it looks nice. I think it looks good. I think we did a good job. I would love to maybe revisit this again in a year and see if I've gotten any better from this point. I'm sure I will, if I keep doing these. But yeah, I think I tried my best to interpret like what I saw and then, obviously adjust it to my face. Ryan has such a beautiful face. Her eyes are so small and like her forehead's smaller than mine. Like everything about her is really small. Her nose bridge is small. So her makeup really fits her face to a T. Like any makeup artist that she works with just gives her like the most beautiful cat-like eyes, and they're all it her makeup looks just eat every single time because her face is just phenomenal. Like she's a phenomenal canvas. So, adapting her makeup to my face, it's not gonna be like a one for one thing, but I think the essence, the concept of Orion Destiny makeup look is there. So I think we did a pretty good job. You guys can let me know what you think about that. All the products that I used to complete this look are gonna be in my um description down below. You can, I don't know, leave me a comment. Let me know if you learned anything new or if you have any tips or tricks that you think might help me. Definitely let me know. I'm fully invested in this get better, get my technique better sort of mission that I'm on. And yeah, I'm looking forward to doing something else. I mentioned last week I want to do 90s cool toned makeup. So I do believe that will be the next one. This just kind of caught me off guard. I fully planned on doing cool tone makeup for this video, but her makeup just was so pretty. I was like, I have to do that. I have to do it now. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to find me on social media, right now I'm just on TikTok and here on YouTube. I'll have some other social media stuff coming down the pipeline, but I'm trying to just simplify things and just I want to stick to like one platform. And I really want to dedicate more time to YouTube. So I'm just on YouTube right now, TikTok as well, and more to come. So you could definitely follow me there. Um, what else? I don't know. I think that's it. I think that's it for this video. I think we've covered quite a lot. And again, I really appreciate you for watching, and I will see you next time.